Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us at Prabhupada House. This is Sunday, February the 19th, 2023, and we're going to be studying from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 65. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay, so Lakshmi Priya and I are together at Prabhupada's house, and we are going to be studying chapter 18, the conclusion of the perfection of renunciation, text 65, and I'm going to go word for word first, and then we'll do it together. So, man manaha, bhava, mad bhakto, madhyaji, mam, namaskara, mam, eva, esayasi, satyamte, patijani, priya, say, asimi. Okay, you're doing okay. All right. Thank you. Man mana bhava mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru, mam eva esasi satyamte, pratajani prayoseme, man mana bhava mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru, mam eva sasi satyamte, pratijani prayoseme, man mana bhava mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru, mam eva sasi satyamte, pratijani prayoseme. Okay, so we can go word for word in the translation. Man manaha, thinking of me. Bhava, just become. Mat bhaktaha, my devotee. Mat yaji, my worshipper. Mam, unto me. Namaskuru, offer your obeisances. Mam, unto me. Eva, certainly. Asasi, come. Satyam, truly. Te, to you. Pratijani, I promise. Prijaha, Priya, okay. Dear. Asi, you are. May, my. Translation. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. The purport from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours, he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the very dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. He should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Vishnu, Narayana, Rama, Viraha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the dearmost friend of Krishna's. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes. With the torch of knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvisesha Srinyavadi Vashanti Saturni. So the verse again is Man Mana Baba Madakto Madaji Mam Namaskaru Mam Ivashasi Satyante Pratijani Prayosene. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So I hadn't looked at the plates in a while. And when I came to Prabhupada's house, I was putting the Bhagavad Gitas together so that if anyone came, they could come to the verse. They were comfortable in the temple room. And I wanted to show the picture of the platelet. That actually plate 43 is the beautiful picture of Krishna in his bluish form with the peacock feathers. And so this would be one form of Krishna in which one could meditate on and always think of Krishna. So it's close to Valentine's Day, or Valentine's Day wasn't that far away. And so I was thinking of Krishna as a beloved. And I know for me, those are like words that I really don't know how that actually means for how I see Krishna, except when I see his form on the altar or in a picture or in the Bhagavad Gita. And so I was curious to kind of dive into different ways of looking at Krishna and also as in the form of a beloved. So in one of Srila Prabhupada's letters, it was a letter to Kanchabala, January 14th, 1968. He states, love affairs in the material world are only shadows or reflections of the real love with Krishna. If you love Krishna in any capacity, you shall never be frustrated because everything in Krishna is perfect, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. And I was also looking at a couple of quotes from Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist. He said, when you love someone, the most precious gift you can give your loved one is your true presence. If you love someone but rarely make yourself available to him or her, that is not true love. So arranging daily activities that are in Krishna consciousness and connecting with Krishna is true love. So from my personal experiences, I've had many failed relationships, and I would say that it is definitely a reflection of not real love, and I was not fully present with those men in my life. when I was in a relationship with them. And I can see how in the material world, it's really, really difficult not to be in judgment or think that I am more important and I should be pleased by this person. And it's not, so I was a taker in the relationship. So looking at these letters from Prabhupada and from some other quotes, I was looking at my relationship with others in the material world versus in the spiritual world. So if I go internal to my true self, I want to remember Krishna as an eternal servant to him and to please him. And by pleasing Prabhupada, I am pleasing Krishna. So whenever I get entangled in the material world, it's really about the ego stepping in, and it's all about me, and it's not about God, and it's not about my relationship with Krishna or spreading the holy names of the Lord. And I go into forgetfulness and I go into Maya. And so I feel when I make the effort to arrange my daily activities that it's around Krishna conscious activities, then I can rise above that, because the eternal self, my true self, is wanting a relationship with Krishna and wanting to be in service to Krishna. And then when I do that, I am joyful and blissful and happy. And so an experience that I had that I was sharing with Lakshmi Priya, she saw me all red in the face on Thursday night. And I was upset about a relationship that I had with somebody at work. And so it was all about me and not about that person. And I was also looking at how can I go deeper inside and look at what's happening for me. And so I knew that Murray was going to have a program on Friday morning, and that I had already made arrangements to bathe and dress the deities and to bring Gopal from Prabhupada house for him to be bathed and dressed. And so I knew that my mood would change when I arrived. But when I arrived, I still was in my funky mood, as Melanie called me. But I arrived and I immediately was asked to do the leading pranams and kirtan. So I led the first kirtan. And so my heart started to soften just by singing the Lord's names, and to forget about the foolishness of this material world and just really connecting with the deities on the altar and with my relationship with Krishna. And then Melanie's class was on etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette. And so I was also appreciating how simple and yet difficult it is to offer all respects to another, and think of myself as lower than straw in the street. So one of the Chaitanya's sastras that we learned was to always think of ourselves as lower than the straw in the street and to offer our respectful obeisances. And so I was starting to reconnect with how I may have offended this person. And so that was one of the storylines, was that that Melanie was sharing, was that if I feel offended, then I've offended another. So I was looking at, okay, so how can I look at that relationship and improve upon that? And for me, it was getting out of my head and just serving. And so by serving, it cleared my mind and cleared my space and opened up my heart again to really want to just be present for this person and for myself, and to give of myself naturally. So in preparing for this class, it was a lot of research on ways to be absorbed in God consciousness and Krishna consciousness. And so I'm kind of switching gears on you, because I was feeling that there is so much that when you really want to see Krishna, he's there. And when you really want, and when I want him to be a part of my life, then every love song is a love song for my beloved Krishna. So I was thinking of a certain movie that was popular in my day, when Whoopi Goldberg did Sister Act with the sisters. and they sang My Guy, which was my God. And so I'm going to do my best attempt here because this made it joyful. So here's my rendition of the sisters with Whoopi Goldberg. Nothing you could say could tear me away from my God, my God. Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck like you to my God, my God. I'm sticking to my God like a stamp to a letter. Like birds of a feather, we stick together. I'm telling you from the start, I can't be torn apart from my God. Nothing you could do could make me untrue to my God, my God. Nothing you could buy could make me tell a lie to my God, my God. I gave my God my word of honor to be faithful, and I'm gonna, you better believe I won't be deceiving my God. As a matter of opinion, I think he's tops. My opinion is he's the cream of the crop. As a matter of taste, to be exact, he's my ideal. As a matter of fact, no muscle-bound man can take my hand from my God, my God. No handsome face could ever take the place of my God, my God. He may not be a movie star. When it comes to being happy, we are. There's not a man today who could take me away from my God. I'm just gonna go there. But I mean, it was so fun. And this was before I came to Christian consciousness. And yet, just singing about my God, and was seeing all the nuns and the people in the parish, and people were coming into the church by the droves because of how joyfully they were singing. And that, Whoopi was bringing more people into the church. And it was because of how to make it more personal, to like really sing joyfully. And so I just was thinking that was kind of fun. And that when I came to my first program, it was at Damayanti's and Garuda's house about, maybe over 8 years now. And I first heard Melanie sing the Maha Mantra. I felt my heart burst open. And so here was a song that I'd never heard before, and singing the Maha Mantra was like otherworldly. Just, I couldn't describe it other than it didn't make any sense to me, except that I knew in my deepest soul, myself, my true self, that was a true song of love to God. And so it was such a beautiful experience that I just couldn't help myself for coming back for more, even though I really was not aware of why it was really coming. I just was so attracted to the sound vibrations and Melanie's beautiful singing and our harmonium she was playing, which I didn't know at the time what that was. But everything about it was so attractive and so beautiful. So after a couple of programs, then I went to a morning program rather than like an enlightenment program like this in an afternoon. And so one of the songs that they sang that is Prabhupada's favorite is that he's very fond of, and he would sing it right before his lectures, was Jaya Radha Madhava. So that was another song that I was so in love with. And I felt the connection there and not knowing the words. And so then when I got to actually understand the words, it was even more attractive. So looking at that, Jaya Radha Madhava was written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who actually is on our wall behind me. And so he said that this song is a picture of Vrindavan. Everything is there. Srimati Radharani, Vrindavan, Govardhana, Yashoda, and all the cowherd boys. So there was just such a beautiful story about how, everything that I was going to come to learn in Christian consciousness was relayed in this song. And again, how the close relationship that Krishna had with the cowherd boys and with the gopis. Come on in. Hare Krishna, come on in.
Krishna.
Yes, welcome to Prabhupada's house.
I'm so glad to be here.
So this, Laura, you have really good timing because in my sharing, I was going to share that in the hallway, in that hallway, before you come in, look in the hallway, look at the picture to the left, What do you see? What do you see? What do you see in there?
How much time do you have?
Yeah, how much time do I have? Because it's Vrindavan.
I see eternity.
It's eternity. It's eternal bliss. So come on in, Laura.
This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, so that's the experience that we want at Prabhupada's house, right? So someone walks
It's
in
real.
and they've never ever experienced Krishna, they've never experienced Prabhupada, and yet they get a vibration as soon as they enter into the home. And so I was fortunate that once we had bought the home, and I always like artwork, and I'm always looking for artwork. And someone, Material Resources for Spiritual People, had posted that painting online, and they would deliver it, and they would set it up. And it was a devotee couple in Alachua who was going to move into a smaller unit. And so they took a picture of it so that they could put it in their altar at their new home. And so we got to acquire it here for Prabhupada's house. So it's such a beautiful way of entering the sacred space that we've created at Prabhupada's house. And then of course the other magical part in the hallway is Srila Prabhupada. So he's there as well on the other side, our spiritual master. And so even those people, again, may pass it several times during their stay, they're not even aware. But in the instant that they become aware and their senses awaken, Lakshmi Priya and I are here. We are here. So if they want to go on that adventure, if they want to hear Jaya Radha Madhava, if they want to hear the Maha Mantra, if they want to chant with us the holy names, it's available to them. And it's so special and magical and beautiful that that's one of the things that really, I just almost like came to tears when they came to put that in.
I just about did as well.
Oh, beautiful.
And you know what gave it away?
What's that?
Well, I knew this was the house before even looking at the sign.
I'm gonna let you share.
We're on film.
Yeah, we're just gonna, yeah.
Hello,
If you don't mind
people.
sharing, yes.
Well,
Yes.
I'll make myself comfortable.
Yeah, of course.
It was the flower in the statue, and I knew that was
This was
Gaetano's statue, and the
Yes.
flower looks like a frangipani.
nice.
Is that what it is?
It's a camellia, but it's a fun one.
Did
Yeah.
you pick it?
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So I walked by and I was like, this is the house.
Nice.
And I was contemplating where to park and
Anywhere.
then thought, well,
Anywhere you want to
okay,
park.
well, if it's okay, I'd rather
Yes,
kind
yes.
of be behind the scenes today.
Okay, no, that's fine. We're actually
On
just
camera
recording.
all week.
Yeah, we're just recording since
Okay.
David is
It's beautiful.
thank you. David is still in his travels, and there was just an initiation yesterday,
Okay.
and so he was there. And so someone who's been practicing Krishna consciousness after the second day of the foundational course, I mean, that's how magical Krishna can be at times, where this just entered this man's life so quickly and fast, and he's been practicing for almost a year now, and going on Harinam. And anyway, he decided he wanted to take initiation, take his vows to Srila Prabhupada. And so, and
Beautiful.
after the advanced course,
Mhm.
dear Govinda was there to do that, and it was a beautiful service. And his spiritual name is Arjuna Das. So, and we were just talking about this.
Oh,
this particular, I
I
know.
wouldn't want that name.
Oh,
Life feels like arduous enough.
oh my goodness.
However, is this
Yes.
an ottoman
You
or
can
a
do whatever
seat?
you like.
Okay.
Whatever you like. You can use it any way you like.
Well,
I do
that's-
that all the time.
How many people graduated yesterday? Or
Oh, I really
Yeah,
don't
and-
know. That was in Switzerland. Yeah.
oh no,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So he's over there, and he'll
Okay.
be flying home tomorrow. So yeah. So we were carrying on, and so we come
Glad to
together
be
the
here.
third Sunday. Yes, I told Lakshmi Priya this could be a really, really sweet little venue for Laura to come and be
Yeah.
with us, because it'll just be the three of us.
Yes, and I probably would have been here a few minutes sooner, but it's hard to pass up a little produce market with a
Yes.
country flair.
Yes.
And it's just beautiful. The neighborhood is adorable.
Oh, thank
The
you.
setting, the presence, it's very loving.
Thank you.
If I know we're being filmed, but basically,
Yeah.
quite honestly, it's real. It's very real. What you two have created with David and Marie and everyone else in the community.
Thank
It's
you.
very real.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're in case you wanted to know, we're on chapter
I
18.
got you set up
Glasses.
right there.
Yeah, right
I
there.
brought my glasses.
Okay, beautiful. So this is text 65. And so this is always think of me and become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. And so it actually speaks into here about we should worship the Lord in the form of Krishna as he was present before Arjuna. So that's why it was so sweet of the initiation being for Arjuna that this actually came in mind. And then the other piece that I just realized when I came here, this is the form to meditate on, was plate 43. And so that was, this is also a piece that Lakshmi Priya brought for our altar. And so it's a really nice, so our altar is behind you because we decided to make this more informal today.
Okay.
So we're just kind of putting ourselves together, but we have a beautiful altar back there as well. Thank you. Yes. So I was just doing some personal sharing as well as some quotes that I've read and so yeah, so you came at the perfect time because I was going to share about how when visitors come to Prabhupada's house, they probably don't even know it's Vrindavan, but you know, to get out of the material frame of mind and senses, if you just gaze upon the beauty that is there in Vrindavan and to reconnect with eternal true self, of your relationship with Krishna, you can find yourself there, right? You can just find your beautiful, whether you're a cowherd boy or a gopi or even just a plant in the forest, or an animal in the forest, singing with Krishna and playing with Krishna is just all what I endeavor to aspire to get out of my head, out of the senses that takes me away from the God consciousness. So it's just kind of sharing that, it was Valentine's Day not that far ago. And so this was dedicated to my beloved Krishna. So just to kind of remind myself that that's available to me anytime I want to. And then there's a group of us that are also studying A Course in Miracles. So Prabhupada is my spiritual master, and I also very much enjoy Jesus's teachings. And so the Course in Miracle had actually today's lesson. I was listening to it early this morning when I first woke up, and I said, I have to include this because it's just like perfect. It's always, perfect and complete whenever you do something in God's honor and glory. So the lesson today is, I am sustained by the love of God. And so in Course in Miracles, you usually say that like 3 times. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. Here is the answer to every problem that will confront me today and tomorrow and throughout time. In this world, I believe that I am sustained by everything but God. My faith is placed in the most trivial and insane symbols: pills, money, protective clothing, influence, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people, and an endless list of the forms of nothingness that I endow as magical powers. All these things are my replacements for the love of God. All these things are cherished to ensure a body identification. They are songs of praise to the ego. Do not put your faith in the worthless. It will not sustain you. Only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. It will lift you out of every trial and raise you high above all the perceived dangers of this world into a climate of perfect peace and safety. It will transport you into a state of mind that nothing can threaten, nothing can disturb, and where nothing can intrude upon the eternal calm of the Son of God. Put not your faith in illusions. They will fail you. Put all your faith in the love of God within you, eternal, changeless, and forever unfailing. This is the answer to whatever confronts you today. Through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and ensure confidence.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that was a wonderful meditation that I can fully surrender to God, and he will take care of me, and it will be perfect, peaceful, and safe. And when I forget that I have the love of God, that peace and tranquility is gone, is replaced by fear and anxiety and depression. And so it really helps to remember, again, I am sustained by the love of God. And so part of that is, thinking of God or Krishna as a true friend, counselor, lover, someone who knows everything about me and still loves me, and who wants to protect me and wants to do anything and everything I want. And if I would only listen, right? So if I go deep inside, it's really being quiet and still. So through the Maha meditation, that stillness, because it gets the chatter out of my head, and then it kind of clears so that I can really listen to what Krishna is sharing with me in my heart, and for knowing what is going to be of service to him and to Prabhupada. And by doing that service, then I am my true love to Krishna. I am his beloved by being there for him and wanting nothing else but to please Prabhupada, because Prabhupada serves Krishna. So it feels like also remembering my love of Prabhupada. Like he is, in my opinion, a pure soul. So someone like Jesus, someone like Prabhupada, who has no one else to answer to except Krishna, like sees Krishna, hears Krishna, speaks about Krishna. Everything is in Krishna consciousness. And I don't recall ever like hearing about anyone not feeling that presence with him, like hearing the stories about Prabhupada, just the devotees that are still with us in Alachua and that community that share just the presence of him is just so otherworldly is the word that just comes to me, just a pure soul. And so it's just such a difference in environment than when I grew up in a Catholic church with priests that smoked and drank and did who knows what, and didn't know what to do with certain circumstances. I'm just thinking of my mother who recently passed in June. So most priests would come over and be with the family, but there's just chatter. There's not that serene, beautiful connecting with God, singing the Maha Mantra, reading the Bhagavad Gita, sharing stories about Krishna, like re-engaging the person to enter back into going back home to Godhead. And I wasn't even preparing for this, but it feels like this is the time to share a little bit. My mother would say all the time, this is not my home, and I want to go home, and I don't know why, you won't let me go home. And so we are not home. We're not home now. We're still searching for our true home, and our true home is back home with God. And so I, of course, wanted to assure her that she was safe and she was at home. But now I can see by my continuing to read Prabhupada's books and about Krishna that supporting my mother to say, yes, you're not at home. You want to be at home with God. You want to be at peace. You want to be with her. And God wants to be with you as well. And so it's easy to go back to the habits that I've had growing up, 60 years now, it's easy to fall back to what I know. And it's actually more upsetting when I go back to those bad habits, instead of reaching for the Bhagavad Gita and reading a verse and connecting with God in the heart and going, okay, what is this telling you? What is my lesson to be learned today? And so I feel like I have an opportunity to share now with others as I go forward that, yeah, this isn't your home. We're in a material world. We're not in the spiritual world. Our world doesn't really exist. It's a very poorly lighted, dim version of what is the spiritual world. We're trying to reflect it here on earth and here in this material world, and it doesn't even come close. And yet we are told over and over again by whomever that this is how we find peace and happiness, and through the pills and through the alcohol and through sex and through the senses. And those aren't our true senses. Our true senses are when they're spiritualized. So tasting prasad is a true spiritual sense that we receive. When Lakshmi Priya serves us the Sunday feast, we actually, taste that mercy from God. And there's such a difference.
What about strawberries?
Yes, beautiful. You brought strawberries. Nice. So I just, so I was looking at, there's so many great authors, and someone had talked, I think it was Melanie actually, was talking about Neil Donald Walsh, who does the author of Conversations with God, books 1, 2, and 3. But I didn't find his 1, 2, and 3 books. I went to the bookstore in Gainesville, I was looking, but they had this friendship with God and uncommon dialogue. So he thought he was finished with books 1, 2, and 3, but he actually wasn't. God was still speaking to him. So he had another. So
Maybe it'll be a fourth.
yeah, there'll probably be more. So what I liked about this was that, so God is speaking to Neil, and they're having a conversation, and he's recording what God has to say. So similar to like Course in Miracles, Jesus was speaking to someone and they recorded his teachings. So what I liked about this was, I was just telling you a little bit about my Catholic background. God is saying, have the courage to reject every notion, every idea, every teaching of a God who would reject you, as you can't have a friendship, not a real, not a close, not a working give and take friendship with someone you fear. And so that was very much my upbringing, is fear of God instead of love for God.
Can you read that one more time?
Yes,
That sentence?
I'll read it again. Having the courage to reject every notion, every idea, every teaching of a God who would reject you, as you can't have a friendship, not a real, not a close, not a working give and take friendship with someone you fear. So God tells Neil that there are 7 steps to friendship, and it's not just for him, it works for anybody. So the first step is know him, right? So know God, know Krishna. Second step is to trust him. Third is to love him. Fourth is to embrace him. 5 is actually use him. 6 is help him. And 7 is thank him. So know God, trust God, love God, embrace God, use God, help God, and thank God. It is within that your bliss will be found. There will you remember once again who you are, and there you will experience once more that you have no need of anything exterior to yourself. There will you see the image of you in the likeness of me, and on that day will your need for anything else end, and will you be able at last to truly love and to love truly. That's what a friendship with God is for. It's for helping you remember these things. It's for making your day-to-day life easier, your moment-to-moment experience more of an expression of who you really are. In this moment of total knowing, you will feel the totally joyful, loving, accepting, blessing, and gratefulness. Once you have truly embraced God, Krishna, once you have made that divine connection, you will never want to lose it, for it will bring you the greatest joy you ever had. There will be times when you will slip back into forgetfulness, when you imagine yourself to be other than who you really are, at those times, in particular, use your friendship with God. And I wrote in, chant Hare Krishna, call out the names of God, and he will be there. He will show you the answers. He will guide you with your wisdom. Then spread it, share it, love it, wherever you go, and yours will be the light that can truly light up the world. So I wanted to share that when I come to such a setting where we're gathered together to talk about God, it's just, that's what brings me pure joy. That's what, just everything else that's going out in this madness of the world is not our real world. And so, and I'm looking at how can I create that more and more. So that in the verse today was like, just think of Krishna 24/7, right? So in our illusions and false ego, my false ego, I lose that many times throughout the day. And being in this service today, like we knew Dear Govinda wasn't going to be able to be here. So I've been preparing for like over a month. And so it's been nice just to like read these different books and keeping my practice also with the chanting, and then reading the Course in Miracles. And then I just found a new author that I like. It just helps me with that steadiness. Like there's so much more in common with all of the ways of how to have a friendship with God. And it's just, it's so much more attractive than a fearful, God. And so I really wanted to bring back my feelings for Krishna as a beloved, and to really see him as my beloved, and knowing that I can reach out to him anytime I want to. I can speak to him every time I'm saying the Maha Mantra. Krishna's dancing on my tongue. He's joyfully there with me. And if I really sit with that experience and really know Krishna, then I have the answers that I need. So Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your attention and for listening. And I'm happy to discuss whatever's on your mind. And if you'd like to have any more discussion on any of the parts that I shared, I'm happy to be there with you.
I like how you I also found this to be true when something's stressing us, like your relationship with this woman at work, when something happens where we can take it, instead of diving into depression or isolation or whatever, crying, we can say, well, this is an opportunity. I've been given an opportunity to go deeper. And and you said you went to Melanie's and you took a class and you went in all kind of funky, and you came out refreshed and realigned. And you said something like, well, it's not always opportunity, but we need to look for ways to go deeper in our relationship with Krishna and Prabhupada without it getting to be stressed,
Yes.
every morning, every night before we go to bed.
Yes.
Every time we have opportunities all day long. But it seems like we wait for not wait. It seems like things when the crisis comes, it's like we definitely run to Krishna, and we need him. And that list that you were just saying, trust him, love him, embrace him, use him, that's when we use him the most. I think is when someone triggers us and we feel so hurt that we, right away we think, okay, I gotta go in a private space. I gotta talk to God about this, instead of just going, well, I think we do, but it goes back to our practice being strong and designing a practice, designing a lifestyle, designing a daily routine, so that we're all already in that frame of mind. There'll be less triggering and less pain, but also we're ready for it when it happens. And we know that material life, those things are going to happen, but we don't have to wait till the bottom falls out and then lose ourselves for a day or two or three. or weeks sometimes, personally, I think listening to these words about the 7 steps from Neil Donald Walsh, and it's use him as a stabilizer, as a friend, as a person to talk to that's not going to reject you. As it sounds a little rough saying use him, but then
I think he wants us to use him. I think that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
Prabhupada wants us to be in his service. I don't know if I could find it real quick, but yeah, I think that's what I remember.
Yeah, it's not an external thing.
Right.
So to get through the pain, it's not an external thing. The external stuff, like you were saying, drinking and smoking, whatever, sex, shopping, whatever, is a external thing. Yeah, we could use that. Go eat some cookies.
Yeah. I feel better.
Turn the TV on or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna use. I started this class with diving deeper into your personal relationship. That's the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yes, it's a nice reminder. We're in control of our daily schedule and our routine and our practice.
And what I found is if I keep my promise to do my vows in the morning before I go to work, then if I've chanted my 16 rounds and I've reconnected, then it feels like it's less I'm gonna say still possible, but it's like less triggering. And this happened at 4:30 in the afternoon. So I also recognize that I can also build in a routine that instead of having the reaction that I did, that like really showing respect and honor to that other person, I just went into the defensive. And so I didn't, so then it was all about me getting hurt and like I was the victim. And so instead of going, wow, why, this person really has something to tell me about myself that I need to look at. And instead of
Opportunity.
I have an opportunity to look at myself and internally say, okay, what's happening? Because I can remember too a time when my mother turned to me, she goes, who are you? I mean, she really, that went deep. That went really deep because I had done something that was unkind to her. And she was just like not gonna put up with it. And she was like, who are you? And so it just makes it just, it's kind of like someone needs to just tap you, like just shake you up a little bit. And so it may be words that are hard to hear, but it's also like getting out of my material senses, like really understanding what is it, why do I feel like that was triggering for me. And so, and if I could just reconnect with that love of God and go, this is an opportunity for me to seek guidance and find the answers through that quiet space that I create with him, co-create with him. Yeah. And so it's just this material body, this human context. It's really hard not to go, for me, to go into complete defense first, and then go back and reflect. So chanting and reading Prabhupada's book, and we were talking about Vaishnava etiquette. So like really approaching everyone with equal vision, seeing the spirit soul that we all are. And so if something is happening for that spirit soul that's upset with me, what is that about? So how can we help each other to reconnect with what's truly going on underneath?
How can we help each other?
Yes, how can we help each other?
Have all respect for others.
Yes. Yes.
That verse, turn off your speech, not verse that you were quoting earlier.
Yes. Yeah. Chaitanya's Sastra. Yeah, absolutely.
Holding classes.
Holding classes. Yeah. You have an opportunity to be with each other and to share with each other and have an experience together. It's one of the ways to really dive in deeper and give that time to ourselves, to give space to one another.
Council, how you brought in the other, the Course in Miracles and Neil Donald Walsh and like other texts that are all around us to always resource if we need to hear it in a different way, different format, or connect the dots to what other people are studying.
And it's active. It's definitely not passive. It's active.
Yeah, it's active, and it's
Active
also,
learning.
yeah, and it's also engaging, like to know that we really have one religion. We really do. And it is all very, very bhakti when you really look at the Buddhist and the Christian and the Muslim. I mean, everyone that we if we really go into the relationship with God that we have and share with others, there's so much more bhakti of sharing, just there's more commonalities, I guess is my point, than differences. And then there's love instead of fear, like, mine's the right way, yours is the wrong way. It's more just mutual sharing. So I like that too. You had, a guest here who's a Christian and wanted to share his background. So it's it just gives an opportunity to actually just speak of God and then hear. As for me, and I was sharing earlier that I loved fun songs that was actually connecting myself with God, like Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg singing with the sisters on My Guy, which she did My God. So I did a little version of that earlier, and then but it never went deep. Right, it was always felt good, and then I connected with it. But then it was a movie and it was over, and then I went on with my regular life. And then I went to a program at Dominique's and Gaetano's, and it was the first time I had heard the Maha Mantra, and then it was also the singing of the Maha Mantra, and how beautiful it was, and it just opened up my heart. It was like, I don't even know why. I don't understand it. I don't even know the words. I don't know why I'm singing the words that I'm singing. It was just that potent and so attractive. And then it's now something I still sing every day, right? So I'm chanting it, I'm singing it, I'm thinking of it. I wake up thinking of Krishna, and I go to bed thinking of Krishna. So, but in between the course of the day, sometimes so I feel like that's the movie playing. So it's like, okay, so why can't I keep in that space of always thinking of Krishna? So this was a verse that spoke to me as my looking at, how do I keep Krishna in my daily activities? Yeah.
And that I also just started a new job, like I might have told you, and the other day someone didn't let me do something, like the opposite of everything going on. Like it's like everyone's so busy. Well, someone didn't want to teach me something about the job, and I got offended. And they were like, it's just not today. It's just not happening today. And I thought, what is it about me that they didn't want to teach me that day? So I had to look in. It's like it's not a big offense, but I was bigly offended.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like what? So I had to really go deep and find out why I was so affected by that. Yeah. And it was like I just need to chill and come back with a better perspective of being more centered and just have other things taken care of in my own life, so that when I go back, and it's more of I'm receiving the teaching. Not active or aggressively or jumping at it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's different. And I actually had to experience the teachings in a slower pace in my own life, so I can actually understand the process of why I was triggered so deeply without being so going into a deep depression or a overly anxious mode. So yeah, just chilling and just understanding that sometimes you just need time to let the pages turn slowly so you can understand.
It's not on your demands. It's not on your time.
Patience. And it can
Patience,
be, sometimes I have things so deeply dug that I don't even know there's.
You're not aware. Yeah,
No.
you're not aware. Yeah.
So I need, just that space and that time to just have a quick look or deeper look. And when it's quickly, when you can come back out of it quickly instead of stuck, that's when I feel the healing has happened.
Nice.
And that's kind of what I'm saying to you is,
Yes.
even though I just got here and I haven't been to a Krishna program in a year and a half, doesn't mean that I haven't been connected to Krishna the whole time. And when I can actually get here, it's like I've said, enough of everything else. I'm carving out the time to be here.
Yeah.
Instead of having that tidal wave of external events happen so that I can't get here.
Yeah. That's called self-care.
So it is called self-care.
That's what I'm hearing. You're taking some self-care today to come to the program,
Yes.
and you've been wanting to come for quite a while now. And
Yes.
you're here today, and I'm very happy that you are here.
Like you did when you went to Melody's class.
Absolutely.
You stop everything
Yeah.
and start Krishna.
Yeah. Or and then it gets to a point where he stays
Mm.
and Radha stays and all the little, not the little, but all the stories
Yes.
come back to
The
life.
pastimes, yeah. Mhm.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, thank you. All right. I feel complete. You feel good? All right. So Bhagavad Gita ki jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada's house ki jai,
Jai.
Laura being in the house
Yay.
ki jai. Thank you so much.
And I'm glad I found it in the daytime. I don't think if I came here in the evening, I would have found it as, even though MapQuest took me to Trout, there was